Students, whatever homework is given to you, you have to submit it on the very next day between 8 am to 1 pm to the given WhatsApp number, and it is compulsory to submit your homework as your attendance will be marked on the basis of your submission.
Good morning, students. Welcome you all in today's session. This is part 4 of this chapter named Life Process, and today we are going to start our new topic, and the topic name is Structure of Human Heart. Okay, so we are going to learn in detail how our heart is look like, what are the various parts in which it is divided, and how each and every part participate and does the function that we are going to learn today. Okay, so here is the diagram of human heart. Okay, this is also 4-mark question which is going to be asked in your board exam. Okay, along with diagram, with neat and labeled diagram you are supposed to draw. So let's see the theory part of this. That is, the human heart is conical in shape, because we are learning about the structure, how our hearts look like. So their first point is the human heart is conical in shape. It's look like conical, you can see. It's a conical in shape. Second, its size is of closed fist. When you close your fist, this is your fist. When you close it, so whatever the size of your fist is, that is the size of your heart. That your heart has size which is same as closed fist. Okay. Third, it is located in the small space between the two lungs. Okay, and slightly towards the left side. Suppose this is my right side and this is the left side. So slightly towards the left between the two lungs. Here is my heart. Between the two lungs, slightly towards the left side, it is located. Then the heart is divided into 4 chambers to prevent the mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, because heart receives the both oxygen containing blood as well as CO2 containing blood. So in order to prevent the mixing of this O2 and CO2 blood with one another, our heart is divided into 4 chambers. Okay, the upper 2 chambers are called atria. Here, okay, this is right atrium, this is left atrium. These 2 parts. Okay, this is our heart. It is divided into 4 parts. This upper 2 parts, lower 2 parts. So upper 2 parts, these upper 2 parts are known as atria. Commonly they are known as atria, and when in singular form they are known as atrium. Which is on the left side is known as left atrium, which is on the right side is known as right atrium. So this is your left atrium, this is your right atrium, and both together are known as atria. So out of the 4 chambers in which our heart is divided, in them the upper 2 chambers are known as atria, okay, commonly, and similarly they are known as atrium. Left side left atrium, right side right atrium. Okay, then the lower 2 chambers, okay, the lower 2 chambers are known as ventricles. The lower 2 chambers are known as ventricle. Upper 2 chambers are known as atria, lower 2 chambers are known as ventricle. Again, left side left ventricle, right side right ventricle. Okay, and all these 4 chambers are being divided from one another by a partition known as septa. Okay, that means just like in our home, each and every room is divided by a wall that is in between the 2 rooms. In the same way, all the 4 chambers of our heart are being divided, are being separated from each other by a partition known as septa, and singularly it is known as septum. Okay, then the walls of atria are thin while the walls of ventricles are thick. Okay, what are the walls of atria are there? They are very thin. Okay, their thickness is small or less. And what are the walls of ventricles are there? Their thickness is very high. So they are more thick compared to atria. Next, for the flow of blood from left atrium to left ventricle, there is a bicuspid valve. Okay, for example, this is our left side. This upper part is left atrium and lower part is left ventricle. So for the blood to flow from this left atrium atrium to this left ventricle. For the blood to flow from left atrium to left ventricle, see there is this valve, and this valve is known as bicuspid valve. Okay, this valve, okay, carry out the flow of blood from left atrium to left ventricle. And similarly, for the flow of blood from right atrium to right ventricle. Similarly, for the flow of blood from right atrium to right ventricle, there is a valve known as tricuspid valve. Okay, so bicuspid valve carry out the flow of blood from left atrium to left ventricle, whereas tricuspid valve carry out the flow of blood from you can now say on your own, that is right atrium to right ventricle. Okay, is it clear? So this is the structure of your human heart, and what is the role of this valve? To prevent the backflow. That means once the blood goes from this region to this part of the heart, ठीक है, to stop its flow from coming back, यानी उसे वापस पीछे आने से रोकने का काम valve का होता है. So valve stop the backflow of blood from ventricle to the atrium. Okay, so this is the structure of your human heart. So what is the summary part? Once again, let's know it. It is conical in shape. Okay, its size is of closed fist. Okay, it is divided into 4 chambers to prevent the mixing of oxygen and CO2 blood, and all the 4 chambers are separated from each other by a partition called septa. Upper 2 chambers are atria, lower 2 chambers are ventricle. One which is on the left side are left atrium and left ventricle. On the right side, right atrium and right ventricles. For the flow of blood from left atrium to left ventricle, there is a bicuspid valve. Similarly, for the flow of blood from right atrium to right ventricle, there is a tricuspid valve. Okay, is it clear? So that is about the structure of human heart. Hope you got the topic. Okay. Now let's move to our next topic, which is related to this human heart only. That is circulation of blood in human heart. Just now we have learned about how our human heart looks like, into what parts it is divided, how they works, what each and every part known as, that we have learned. Now we are going to learn about the circulation of blood which is taking place inside and outside the heart. Okay, so let's start. You can see one diagram I have drawn on the board, which will help you to understand the circulation of blood taking place in heart very easily, because theory wise it looks like little bit difficult, but by visualizing this diagram and following its arrow, you can easily come to know that how the circulation of blood is actually taking place inside and outside the heart. So let's start with body organs. As we know, various arteries carry the oxygenated blood to various parts of the body. After reaching to that parts, it gets divided into various capillaries. Those capillaries now provide that oxygenated blood to each and every cell. After taking that blood, cells undergo respiration, which is also known as cellular respiration. By cellular respiration, what happens? Blood convert that oxygenated blood into deoxygenated blood. That means O2 containing blood is converted into CO2 containing blood. Now that CO2 containing blood, CO2 blood, deoxygenated blood is taken from body organs to the right atrium. CO2 blood from body organs is taken to the right atrium by means of superior and inferior vena cava. That means, what is the function of superior and inferior vena cava, which is the one of the biggest veins we are having? To take the deoxygenated blood from various body organs to the right atrium. Now, as soon as this blood enters the right atrium, okay, walls of the right atrium get relaxed. They allow the blood to come in. As soon as the right atrium becomes full of blood, it starts contracting. And due to its contraction, what happens? Whatever the tricuspid valve is there between the right atrium and right ventricle, it gets open due to that pressure. And because of that pressure, all the blood which is there in right atrium, it gets into the, or it gets transferred into the right ventricle, and simultaneously when the blood is entering the what I am saying, right ventricle, the walls of right ventricle get relaxed. Now they allow the blood to come in. ठीक है, is it clear? But whatever the at whatever the time this things is getting place, or this things is getting happen, well, actually at same time the oxygenated blood from lungs is getting entered into the left atrium. That means whatever the CO2 blood is entering the right atrium from by means of superior and inferior vena cava, at the same time the oxygenated blood, any O2 blood from lungs is taken into the left atrium by pulmonary veins, and both this process take place simultaneously at the same time. That means deoxygenated blood from body organs taken into the right atrium by superior and inferior vena cava. At the same time oxygenated blood from lungs is taken into the left atrium by pulmonary veins. Okay, clear? Now what happened? As I said, the blood gets into the right atrium, it relaxes, then get filled full of blood, and it contract, blood transfer from right atrium to right ventricle. Now whenever the right ventricle get full of blood, now it start contracting, and due to its contraction, whatever the blood is there in right ventricle, it gets into the lungs. That means from due to contraction of right ventricle, the impure blood, the CO2 containing blood, deoxygenated blood is transferred from right ventricle to the lungs. Now as soon as the blood enter the lungs, its purification process starts. That means when we inhale, that is by the process of respiration, when we inhale, we take O2 into our lungs. Now that O2 get mixed with this impure blood, and whatever the CO2 was there in this impure blood is taken out, and that we exhale from our through our respirating system. Okay, यानी क्या होता है कि जब blood right ventricle से lungs के अंदर जाता है, तो जैसे ही blood lungs के अंदर जाता है, it's an impure blood. Now that impure blood में से क्या किया जाता है, CO2 को निकाल लिया जाता है, and due to inhalation, whatever the oxygen is taken into the lungs, that oxygen is given to blood. Because of that, CO2 blood becomes O2 blood. That means as soon as now blood entering from this side is CO2 blood. Now after the process which is taking place in lungs, now that CO2 blood becomes O2 blood, and now that O2 blood is taken into the left atrium by pulmonary vein. Now when the blood enters the left atrium, it relaxes. Its wall get relaxed, and it's allow the blood to come inside, and when the blood becomes full of, then that means when left atrium becomes full of blood, it start contracting, and due to its contraction, pressure exert. Due to that pressure, bicuspid valve gets open, and whatever the blood is there in left atrium, it get transferred into the left ventricle. Okay, now walls of left ventricle become relaxed, and they allow the blood to come inside. Now when blood becomes full in left ventricle, its wall contract. Due to contraction of its wall, now whatever the O2 blood is there, that O2 blood is transferred to body organs by aorta. Okay, so this way the whole process keeps on, and it is also known as double circulation. One question is asked in board exam, why the blood circulation, whatever the blood circulation is taken place inside the heart, it is known as double circulation. Because you can easily see the one which is the blood which is entering the heart, it is taken again back to the heart twice in a one cycle. That means blood transferred through each and every part of the heart twice in a one cycle. That's why it is known as double circulation. Okay, got it? So this is about the circulation of blood in human heart. Okay, first of all, from body organs, impure blood, CO2 blood is taken to right atrium by superior and inferior vena cava. Now from right atrium, the blood enter the right ventricle through tricuspid valve. From right ventricle, the impure blood is taken to lungs for its purification. So during the process of inhalation, oxygen is getting added to the lung, and CO2 is taken out from the blood. Because of that, our CO2 blood becomes O2 blood as soon as it gets enter the lungs, and after the process which is taking place in the lungs, CO2 blood is converted into a oxygenated blood, that is O2 blood. Now this O2 blood is taken to left atrium from lungs by pulmonary veins. Now as soon as blood enters the left atrium, now it's transferred to left ventricle through bicuspid valve. Now due to contraction of left ventricle, the blood is again pushed forward towards the body organs through aorta. Now again body organs to the main cells of the body organs due to the cellular respiration, due to which oxygen from blood is taken and CO2 is given to the blood. As soon as it becomes CO2 blood, it is again taken back to the right atrium by superior inferior, and this way the whole cycle continues, in which blood passes through each and every part of the heart twice in a cycle. That's why it is known as double circulation also. Okay dear students, now let's move to our next topic, which is related to the topic we have just learned in this session, that is structure of human heart and circulation of blood in human heart. Now whatever the circulation of blood is taking place in the body between hearts and organs of the body and also the lungs, so that circulation is done by the components of circulatory system, and those components of circulatory system are known as blood vessels. So now we are going to learn about the various types of blood vessels that are present in our body, which help in the circulation of blood in the body. So our blood vessels are divided into three types, that is arteries, veins and capillaries. One more fluid I have written, that is lymph, that is also have some major role to play in blood circulation, but that we will see in the later part of this session. Let's focus on this our topic, that is blood vessels. So there are three types of blood vessels, and they are arteries, veins and capillaries. Starting with the word arteries. So what is the function of artery in the blood circulation? So artery does the function of carrying the pure blood from heart to various organs of the body. That means artery carrying the oxygenated blood, okay, from heart to various parts of the body. Okay. Third point, its walls are thick, and the fourth point followed is blood flows under high pressure. Both the points are interrelated, because whatever the blood is coming into the arteries, it is due to the pumping of blood taking place in the heart. As we know, our heart pumps the blood. So when our heart pumps the blood, due to that pumping, some extra pressure is generated, and that extra pressure, okay, increase the pressure of the blood coming into the arteries. To resist that pressure, that high pressure, the walls of the arteries are kept thick and elastic. Okay, is it clear? Then, except pulmonary arteries, all arteries carry oxygenated blood. Now in the circulation of blood topic we have seen, I have drawn the diagram in that I have shown you whatever the deoxygenated blood from right ventricle, it is taken to the lungs by the arteries, because just now I have told you that arteries carry oxygenated blood, but in that diagram I have drawn one artery that has taken the blood from right ventricle to the lungs, but that blood was impure. So that point I have to show you that is pulmonary artery. That artery was pulmonary artery, and that is the only artery in the whole artery system which carry the deoxygenated blood. Otherwise all other arteries always carry oxygenated blood. Only pulmonary artery carry deoxygenated blood from right ventricle to the lungs. Okay, then let's come to our next point, that is veins. It is just complementary of this artery. That means it carry blood from various body organs towards the heart. So veins does the function of carrying the blood from various body organs to the heart. Okay, as we know, whatever the blood coming from the body organs, it's impure in nature. That's why we are saying the veins carry deoxygenated blood. That means CO2 containing blood. So veins carry deoxygenated blood from various body organs to the heart. Now, its walls are thin because the blood flows under low pressure. The walls of veins are kept thin naturally. Why? Because whatever the blood is coming into the veins, that is coming from the body organs, and body organs never pump the blood. Just like in arteries, whatever the blood is coming into the arteries, that was pumped by the blood, which create the pressure, high pressure. Whereas the blood which is coming into the veins, it is coming from the body organs, and body organs are not going to pump the blood. It is just coming by natural process. That's why the walls of veins are kept thin. Okay, and except pulmonary vein, all other veins carry deoxygenated blood. Again, refer to that diagram of blood circulation. In that I have drawn that lungs. Here I have drawn the lungs. Then from here I have drawn one vein which is carrying the blood from lungs to the left atrium. And that blood was pure blood, because once the blood comes out from the lungs, it is converted into a pure blood. Pure means oxygen containing blood, O2 blood. So that blood is carried from lungs to the कहाँ ले जाते थे? To the left atrium by pulmonary vein. So that is the only vein which carry the oxygenated blood. Otherwise, all other veins in our body carry only deoxygenated blood. Okay. So this is the total discussion about the blood vessels. Okay. And you can also use this point as a difference between arteries and vein, which is also most familiar question asked in so much of time in board exam. Now let's move on to the third blood vessels, that is capillaries. So this capillaries, on reaching the organs, arteries divide into smaller vessels called capillaries. That means arteries carry the oxygenated blood from heart to various organs of the body. Now as soon as these arteries reach the organs, that artery get divided into various branches. So those smaller branches, small vessels are known as blood capillaries. And these are the blood capillaries which carry out the exchange of material between the blood and the cells. So what is the exchange of material taking place in our body between the cells and the blood? That all process of exchange of material is carried out by the capillaries. Okay? Now next, one extra fluid which we have to learn is lymph. Just like blood, lymph is also one cellular fluid present in our body. Blood is colored fluid, whereas lymph is a colorless fluid. Blood contains high amount of protein, lymph contains less amount of protein. Okay? It is tissue fluid. It is known as tissue fluid. Okay? Just like your blood vessels are the component of blood, lymph is the fluid of tissue. That's why it is known as tissue fluid. Plasma, protein and blood cell access to the pores of blood capillary and accumulate into the intercellular space in the tissue to form lymph. देखो, now to understand this point, just refer to this diagram. What is written in that diagram? What is the, see, this is the artery. It carries oxygenated blood. Now whenever this oxygenated blood is going through this capillaries, see all these four are capillaries, blood capillaries. But this blood capillaries have some small pores. छोटे-छोटे छेद होते हैं उनमें, holes होते हैं. तो उससे क्या होता है, उन होल्स में से, उन पोर्स में से व्हाट द प्लाज्मा, प्रोटीन, ब्लड सेल्स आर देयर, दे गेट एस्केप थ्रू दैट pores and get accumulate into this intracellular space. So whatever the plasma, protein, blood cells which are escaped from the pores present in the blood capillaries and get accumulated in this intracellular space, that intracellular space fluid is known as lymph. उसे lymph कहा जाता है. Now this lymph, ठीक है, is taken into the lymphatic capillaries. ठीक है, this lymph को कहाँ लेके जाते हैं? Lymphatic capillaries. Now this lymphatic capillaries join together to form lymph vessels, and this lymph vessel finally again get into the veins. That is whatever by accident or by default, whatever the blood protein was come out of the blood capillaries and get accumulated into the intercellular space, which is it is taken back to the veins by the lymphatic system. Okay, that means whatever the extra protein or blood vessels or whatever the nutritive compounds which are being escapes to these pores, which are getting accumulated at this intercellular space, are taken back to the main flow of blood by this lymphatic system. Okay, and this is the main function done by the lymphatic system in the form of lymph. Now one more thing, it carry digested and absorbed fat from intestine. ठीक है, in your intestine, any small intestine or large intestine, what are the absorbed and digested fat is there, it is carried by the lymph only. One more, it drains the excess fluid from intercellular space and back into the blood. That means this thing, whatever the extra fluid which comes out of the, which has come out from the pores of the blood capillary, it is taken back to the veins by this lymph only, lymphatic system in the form of lymph. Okay, so that's all about the components of blood and its vessels and some extra fluid, that is lymph. Hope you got the topic which we have done in the whole section. Okay, part 4 of this chapter. We will see you in the next part 5. Till then, you have to prepare whatever the question I have taught today in this session at your home, because all are the most important question from your exam point of view. Okay, till then, take care.